UNI aru Indian Women Network Assam chapter presents India at 100 Women-led Development.
Presented by Tops and Cement, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा. Powered by Nestle Serico, co-powered by Jetta Farm, देश का culture, agriculture. Banking partner, State Bank of India, the banker to every Indian. Education partner, Assam Downtown University. Health partner, Agile Hospital, Litosif, Hell Liver Syrup. जो पिएगा वो जिएगा. In association with NRL, Oil India, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. Print partner, the Assam Tribune. Radio partner, Gupshup 94.3 FM. Proud to be local.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to India at 100 Women-led Development Conclave. Today we will discuss and deliberate how and why in the next 25 years women should actively participate in our country's economic growth. The focus is on health, sustainability, education and career, entrepreneurship, technology, financial management, culture. Women have no doubt its presence everywhere, but not the required number. Our country needs our full participation in all sectors so that in the true sense, by 2047, we can see not just 20 to 30% women workforce, but 50% in any organization. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the inaugural session, and we are very pleased to have with us some eminent guests who are going to grace the days. May I request Srimati Dheera Chaliha Hazarika, who is here with us. A big round of applause. She's the first woman pilot of Assam, and we are truly honored that she's here with us today. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege and the honor of interviewing this excellent lady, the first woman pilot of Assam. Give her a big round of applause for Srimati Dheera Chaliha Hazarika, and a warm welcome to you, ma'am. We have with us Srimati Nidhi Sharma, ISRO member of Chandrayaan 3. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly come onto the dais and take your seat. And another huge round of applause. She has come all the way for this particular event today. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here with us. We have with us Mr. Bajrang Lohia, Managing Director of the Lohia Group. A warm welcome to you, sir. May I request you to kindly come onto the dais and take your seat. And a huge round of applause. The applauses should keep coming. He's an inspiration for us. We have with us Srimati Deepti Jaiswal, Chairperson of IWN Assam Chapter. May I request you, ma'am, to kindly come onto the dais and take your seat. And a big round of applause for this wonderful leader that we have amongst us. We have with us Dr. Sriparna B. Barua, Co-Chairperson of IWN Assam Chapter. May I request you, Baido, to kindly come onto the dais and take your seat. It's always a huge, huge pleasure and a sense of pride for all of us to have our leaders amongst us. We would now like to move on to the felicitation ceremony and would like to felicitate our guests on the dais. May I request our ladies present here to kindly come forward and felicitate the first woman pilot of Assam, Srimati Dheera Chaliha Hazarika. Madam Nidhi Sharma, warm welcome to you. May I request we have with us Mr. Bajrang Lohia. Thank you, sir, for being here with us, and we'd like to felicitate you. May I request would now like to move on to the auspicious part of today's function, and that is the lighting of the lamp. May I request our guests to kindly step forward to light the lamp. I will now request Srimati Deepti Jaiswal, Chairperson of IWN Assam Chapter, to present the welcome and theme address.
Namaskar. Good morning. Can I have a good morning from all of you, please? That sounds like a school. I, on behalf of DY365 and CII IWN, Indian Women Network, Assam Chapter members, is honored to welcome you all to our conclave, India at 100, Women-Led Development. DY365 is the premier news channel of Assam, uploading the ethics of journalism and disseminating news fearlessly, impartially, and trustworthily. Every year, in association with CII IWN, we organize a woman-centric conclave. The purpose is to hear the best minds on how to work towards meaningful and productive contributions of fellow women in our nation's economic and mental growth. We were the pioneers in holding the first Women's Day conclave, Empowered Women and the New World, and also the first Women Tourism Conclave, Incredible Northeast India, Tourism, a vehicle for women empowerment. Perhaps we're the first one to do this kind of conclave across India, which was totally woman-centric and totally from the tourism perspective. IWN is an integral part of CII, of the woman, by the woman, and for the woman. It's a conglomerate of women from different professions whose constant effort is to create leaders, provide mentoring, and give a platform to all those who dream and work towards its realization. There are more than 25 chapters all across India. Well, everyone is aware of one thing. India has completed 70 years of independence. Don't you think we need a big round of applause for that? It has become the most populated country in the world. That also deserves a round of applause, or doesn't it? Out of which approximately 65% being youth and 48% women. Our strength lies in our human resource. We are the bank, the human. We have to capitalize that. However, we women still remain 20% contributors to our country's GDP. That doesn't sound very good, but we are here to work on this. Even after more than 25 years of its recommendation, 33% women reservation in Parliament is till date an indefinite aspiration, in spite of it being tabled in Parliament a few days back. In the next 25 years, if we don't accelerate our progress, our nation's development will be like half moon, the other half covered in cloak of darkness. So we as women should remove that darkness as soon as possible and always show our country in the light of full moon. I once again welcome all to this conclave. Have a very positive, productive day. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for setting the tone of this entire conclave. I would now like to request Srimati Dheera Hajorika to speak a few words.
In my days when I was doing my flying, my mother never let me do the flying. She said to me, this is not a girl's job, you shouldn't be doing this. But my father He's the Kamal Sucholia. He's the poet and the literary man. So he encouraged me. He told me, if boy can do it, you can do it as well. Then I was only 19 years old. Then I saw the advertisement in the Assam Tribune. Then he said to me, why don't you try? You might get it. Because he knew my character. I was all the time like tomboy. I used to climb trees, catching fish and all these naughty things, while my sisters were playing with the dolls and other things. So I decided that I should go for this, and I got the scholarship. 5 of us, 5 girls and 5 boys. I think we all been flying, and I'm the only girl from Assam Flying Club. I had the PPL, that is a private pilot license, and I did nearly 200 hours altogether. And I was planning to go for the commercial pilot, but in the meantime, my husband, then would-be husband, he came from England, and that was a wedding, I think arranged wedding. Then I got married, then I went to England and stayed there for 60 years. Still I'm going back, still I have to do some time, to do these sort of things. And when I went to England, I went to a flying club, then my husband was filling up a form. And when the form was filled up, then the pilot said, come along, I'm going to show you the inside of the aircraft. So he invited my husband. Then he said, I'm the one who's not going to fly, this is my wife. Then the man said that, with sari on, is he going to fly? He was so surprised And I went in, I saw it, I did few hours. Then I thought it is not possible for us to spend a lot of money on flying. So I concentrate with my family life. And I have 2 nice, good children. One of them is sitting in front of me, that is Lawyer Gorola. And my son, who is a barrister in London, that's it. So I had a happy life, still I'm very happy. But I'm still thinking that while I was flying, I never thought I'm going to be honored like this today. And I think I should have completed the B license, but my destiny was not like that. But still I'm happy what I am now.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, your story is so inspirational. The one thing I'm going to take home today is if a man can do it, so why can't the women do it as well? And thank you once again, your story. We could just keep on hearing your story all the time. Thank you for being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, like I had told you before, we have with us Mr. Bajrang Lohia, the MD of Lohia Group, and we'd like to hear from him. Sir.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. As we stand here in today's conclave, India 800, Women-Led Development, it's imperative that we understand how do we see women at this juncture. The answer lies not only in the strides we have made, but also in the path that stretches before us. In the past 76 years of independent India, Indian women have defied expectations and broken barriers. From the courageous freedom fighters who stood shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts, to the visionaries who have shaped our nation's cultural, political, and scientific landscape, women have been unsung heroes of our independence and progress. Yet the lens through which we view women today must not be clouded by complacency. We must acknowledge the hurdle that persists. Gender-based violence, unequal access to education and healthcare, and underrepresentation in decision-making are the realities that still plague our society. To truly celebrate the 100 years of independence, we must commit ourselves to envisioning a future where every woman in India stands to equal footing. It's a future where she is not bound by stereotypes or constrained by societal norms. It's a future where her aspirations and achievements are celebrated and the same fervor as the male counterparts. Empowering women isn't just a moral imperative, it's an economic, social, and cultural imperative. Studies show that when women thrive, societies thrive. Their contribution to the workforce, to the governance, and to nurturing families are immeasurable. As we look ahead, let us commit ourselves to dismantling the barriers that hinder their progress. We must invest in education and healthcare, ensuring that no girl is left behind. We must create workplaces that are inclusive and supportive, where women can rise to the leadership positions and influence the course of our nation's destiny. And above all, we must foster a culture of respect, where women are valued not just for their roles as daughters, mothers, or sisters, but for their individual they are. So as we approach our 100 years of our independence, let us do it with a clear vision. Let us see Indian women as architects of our shared future, as leaders, as innovators, and as change makers. Let us stand united in the pursuit of more inclusive, equitable, and prosperous India for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Srimati Dhira Chaliha Hazarika. Thank you very much for being here, inspiring us. Thank you, Srimati Nidhi Sharma. We'll hear you in the entire day, all throughout the day, and Mr. Bajrang Lohia. Thank you very much. India at 100 Women-Led Development Conclave is sponsored by Topsom Cement, powered by Nestle Gecro, co-powered by Zeta Farms, banking partner State Bank of India, education partner Assam Downtown University, healthcare partner Agile Hospital and Letosif, in association with Numoligarh Refinery Limited, Oil India Limited, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India, print partner the Assam Tribune, and the radio partner is Gupshup 94.3 FM, proud to be local. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start this beautiful special session, here is an audio visual.
Deepti Naval, Apunak Swagatom. এগৰাকী অভিনেত্ৰী, পৰিচালিকা, লেখিকা, ফটোগ্ৰাফাৰ, পেইণ্টাৰ। গোটেইবোৰ পৰিচয়ৰ মাজতো আপুনি বলিউডৰ অৰ্ধশতাধিক চিনেমাৰ ভিতৰত কমলা ছবিৰ কমলা, সাত সাত ছবিৰ গীতা, হিট হিট হুৰে ছবিৰ টিচাৰ অনুৰাধা, চৌদাগৰ ছবিৰ আৰতি, কিমান যে কথা, কিমান যে ঘটনা। প্ৰতিটো চৰিত্ৰই জীৱন্ত হৈ আজিও চকুত তীৰ বিৰাই আছে বহুতৰে। আজি আপোনাক সন্মুখত পোৱাৰ পিছত সকলোৰে মনত চাগে তেনেভাৱেই বিৰাজ কৰিছে। কৰ্ম জীৱনত অলেখ অজস্ৰ কাম, অলেখ অজস্ৰ সন্মান বঁটাবাহন আপুনি পাইছে। সকলোতকৈ বেছি আৰ্জন কৰিছে মানুহৰ মৰম। সেই মৰমে টানি আনিছে আজি আপোনাক আমাৰ মাজলৈ। আমি আপোনাক দিব পৰা একো নাই, কেৱল শুভেচ্ছা, অভিনন্দন। We are indebted to you, Deepti Naval man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I request the beautiful, the gorgeous Deepti Naval onto the stage. She needs no introduction. She has been our role model and the actor that we have grown seeing every day on screen, on the small screen and the big screen. Here she is, live here with us. We've always seen it. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here with us. It's a wonderful feeling that you're here and our privilege. Please come, please take your seat. Deepti Naval ji has worked enormously across the country in different languages, movies, films, serials, you've got it. And I'd like to request our CII IWA chairperson, Dipandita Jaiswal, to kindly come onto the stage and moderate the session. She too needs no introduction. She's a leader par excellence who has led the way in many different ways. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tina. Ma'am, we are so glad to have you here. At the outset, welcome to Northeast part of India. Today you went to visit, do your darshan in Kamakhya Mandir also?
Yes, that was my first visit.
That was your first. How did it feel?
It was beautiful. Very nice.
If I read in your book that there is an ancestral connect with Northeast. You know, your grandmother did take that journey through Manipur? Can you just narrate that to us?
My Nani, yes. My mother was born and brought up in Burma. So during the Second World War, when the Japanese invasion of Burma happened, the Indians had to flee. And some people got away in by ship. But there were a lot of Indians left there, and they had no option but to walk over through the Assam hills and reach Dimapur. So this is, I've written about my Nani's journey with the entire family, how they walked over the hills of Nagaland and Manipur and reached India. And my Nani's story, the way it goes is that she said, I will leave everything else behind, but I'm not going to leave my gramophone. So she carried this gramophone with her on her back, and she trekked all the way to India. I have that gramophone is with me today. It's my prized, very, very prized possession.
That is how history has some connection with Deepti with Northeast, right? You know what? Whenever we see you, I especially, I would not say, but I think most of us have the same feeling. तुमको देखा तो ये ख्याल आया, जिंदगी धूप, तुम घना साया. That is so you. The calm, composed, dignified, creative artist. The actress, the director, the photographer, the painter, poet, artist, the author, and also as a hobby, a Kathak dancer. So this is like a whole package of creativity. And I can't say how do you manage your creative canvas so well?
After having heard this talk just now by these wonderful women, all this technology and space and all this, I'm so enamored. I don't think I can immediately step into my life and start talking about films that easy. I'm still, your words and your journey is just resonating in my head so much. Nidhi, please don't run away. I want to have a long chat with you after this. Let me tell you, let me give you a little connect here. As a child, when I was growing up in Amritsar, I did have my dream of becoming an actor. Definitely had started, forming in a concrete manner when I was maybe 9, 10. By 11 I knew. But also, when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, and when we heard the news that man's first step, one little step for man and a large step for mankind, something to that effect, I remember sleeping on the terrace, my house, and looking at the moon with new eyes, And sure enough, when I went to America, astronomy was one of the subjects I studied. So I'm there is a connect between acting and space.
The emotional connect. That's always there. The bond is always there. I remember the last pages. That was the last few pages that you have written on this. Well, Deepti ji, coming to the next part, you do have an artistic mind. How empowering do you feel?
So you asked me how did all these
come?
Well, once the reason I wrote this book is probably my attempt to answer this question, that how did you get to do things, and why not just one thing, either acting or painting or writing, why everything together? And my book, since you have read it, you would know that it explains the different influences, the various influences that were happening at that time in my life, especially from my parents. My father was a writer, my mother was a painter, and my mother was somebody who was fascinated with the arts. My father was an art enthusiast. He was the aesthete, and my mother was the painter. She was the artist. She loved dance, music, drama. It's a different story that she couldn't pursue all that because they were twice refugees, first from Burma to India, then from Lahore to Amritsar, without anything. And I think because the family was left with nothing, it was considered not by my mother, not appropriate to tell her parents that she wants to pursue acting. So, but I grew up listening to all the stories from my mama in my childhood. I think she transmitted all her dreams into my little head. You know?
Yes.
Hello? I mean, I think that's what happens when you hear family history. You go through, your parents, especially your mothers, because you're cuddling up with them in the night and then you're listening to all the things that they dreamt of doing. They just pass it on to you. I think that's how it really happens. And in my case, that's how it has happened. I dreamt of becoming an actor because my mother had dreamt of being a performing artist. And she was she had learned the Manipuri dance. And she was very fond of Bengali culture. She felt very close to the Bengali culture. She loved the Bengali music.
I think she used to listen to Bengali bhajans.
Yes. Jutika Roy, Kanan Bala, and Devika Rani was her favorite. So when you hear these stories and when you spend years listening to the same stories again, and you don't ever say to your mother, "Oh, I've heard this before." I used to be glued to the stories because every time it sounded like something new in there for me.
You had a sadhana fringe cut also, right? So, yes, in your childhood days, in the early teenage.
Childhood was Meena Kumari. Sadhana happened later.
After that.
Yeah.
And I think for a few months you did not even speak after watching Anupama.
That was Sharmila Tagore.
Sharmila Tagore, right? So you can well imagine, how Deepti ji she evolved through the movies that she watched.
I was influenced by, kisko dekha aur I wanted to be like somebody else other than me. Somebody else. It's like that, no? Sharmila Tagore.
Yes.
I saw film Anupama. Right?
Yes, and after that you stopped speaking.
Yeah.
And mother used to get very angry. Why isn't she speaking? Right? And I think your sister understood.
Because Sharmila Tagore never spoke a word through the film. And I thought, wow, that's what I'm going to be. Mysterious, not speak a word. Let whatever happens, let it happen around me. But I am in the Sharmila Tagore state of mind. So I didn't speak. I mean, my mother, I think that was the worst summer for my mom. Because she would call me and I wouldn't answer. I would quietly, daintily come and stand near the kitchen door, waiting for her to notice that I have come. It was crazy time.
Believe me, when I read those lines, even I was laughing the same way. How at that impressionable age, small things kind of impacts you so much and defines your future. What you become. So Deepti's childhood, experience, her observations and everything kind of defined who she is today. The soft, empowering, resilient woman. She knew what she wanted. She started defining herself that way. Yes. Isn't that so?
Yes. My mother used to make me sit on the dining table and she would teach me how to sketch. She was my first teacher. Then, of course, in school there was Sister Gwenny. Then after school, there was the Thakur Singh Art Gallery in Amritsar. So my early interest in painting.
You were a great fan of Amrita Shergill also.
Yes, I did. My first paintings, my first oil colors was copies of Amrita Shergill. I think I painted the Hill Women. And I was very proud of that painting because it turned out to be pretty by your mother and
Parents,
your father.
yeah, that's true.
He had said, yeah, you can do a copy of Rembrandt next. तो फिर वो बात अलग हो जाती. But when he says, next to something from your head, that means you have to be the creator. You have to create. Copying is not the best